Hey everybody, welcome to Takeoff with John Clark. We're at Chickies and Pete's, and it is Surfside Surf and Turf, getting it going here in Philly.
Yes, we are.
Jimmy Rollins in the house.
What do you know?
The greatest Phillies hitter, most hits in Phillies history,
Yes.
the most leadoff homers in
Yes.
Phillies history. So the big question I got to ask you first is, who's going to lead off this year? Who do you want to see lead off?
That is a great question. If it was me, I like the traditional lineup of having the speed up top and not blocking it down in the middle. And I think Trey did a good job there, throughout his whole career. He's bounced 1, 2, and 3. I would like to see him lead off, get him a chance to get on base, run the bases, put pressure on for the big boys when Bryce gets up there and Schwarber hitting those bombs. That's what I would like, but I don't make those decisions. That's above my pay grade.
Yeah, and Rob Thompson says he's still undecided because
I like it.
Yeah, Kyle Schwarber last year,
Right.
I mean, he was top 10 on base percentage.
Right.
The homers, he led the NL in walks.
Right.
So that's a tough guy to take out of the leadoff spot, right?
You know what? Schwarber is a good hitter. He's patient at the plate. But when he's on base in front of Trey, that kind of slows Trey down, for obvious reasons. And why not turn those home runs to 2 and 3 run home runs? And I know they say you lead off once a game, but it does change the way a pitcher and the other team sets up how they face the lineup. When you have speed at the top and power throughout, it's different than having power in the beginning, which they have power all throughout. But, yes, there's an attack plan from the first batter. But I still like it setting up that a guy that can hit a ball in the gap, you're still going to get more hits than home runs. You hit the ball in the gap, Trey scores. Trey hits the ball in the gap, Schwarber's not scoring. And that's what I like.
So do you think Trey will be more disciplined at the plate out of the leadoff spot? He says maybe that would help, not chasing as much and things like that.
I think that's more confidence than anything. And I had to hit third when Chase went down. And I tell you what, it's completely different than batting leadoff. And I didn't realize that until I got in that position. It's different what your job as a leadoff hitter is. You're the one to get the party started. They're not trying to pitch around you, especially not early in the game. You're going to get a couple pitches to hit, and the way that Trey can drive the ball out the yard, give him that advantage. And maybe, like I said, it becomes more disciplined because he's getting better pitches to hit.
So it's interesting because Rob Thompson is saying he could possibly have Trey Turner lead off against lefties and have Kyle Schwarber lead off against righties. So I ask you, greatest leadoff hitter in Phillies history, is that tough? Would that be tough to go back and forth?
Not if they talk about it. If it's something that's discussed beforehand and both guys are comfortable with it, then it's whatever. A lineup can flip that way. I think it's tough when you go from 1 to 3 and back and forth. But 1, 2, in that situation, knowing that it's lefty or righty, you know who you're facing, and both guys are comfortable with it, then cool. But if both guys want to be left alone, pick me a spot and let me be there, then that's what it will be.
Charlie Manuel left you guys alone, right?
Yep, he did.
Same lineup?
He did.
Every day, every year?
Every day, and it worked for about a good 5 years.
So do you also, when you're the manager, you want to have guys hit where they want to?
Yes.
Rob Thompson said Kyle's most comfortable in the leadoff spot.
Correct.
But I think Trey is.
Correct.
And then Bryce Harper, I think, likes to be in that 3-hole.
But he's a leadoff type hitter also,
Yeah.
when he wants to be. He's another guy. He takes a lot of pitches. He takes his walks. He can hit. He's going to drive the ball out the yard. So you really have 3 guys that you can put there. But I think the way the lineup is constructed, and I get it, you don't want to stack too many lefties, back to back. But if Bryce likes hitting third, then he's going to hit third. I don't think there's anywhere. If Bryce wants to hit second because he's most comfortable, then he's going to hit second. So it's going to kind of rotate around that. And I get it. If it's a lefty pitching, then that's what you're going to do. If it's a righty pitching, you're going to make that switch around. But it's not an easy decision. I know they have a lot of numbers, and they put in this computer, and it spits out 1,000,001 different lineups. But ultimately, it's the guys that put on a uniform. They determine how everything should go each day.
So you were down there with Ryan Howard. Mm-hmm. You were a guest instructor. Give us an idea.
I wouldn't give it that.
No?
I wouldn't give it an instructor.
No?
I was hanging out. Hanging out. We did hang out at the cage with Charlie. We got to talk to Schwarber. We got to watch Castellanos work. Got to watch Trey work. And, a lot of guys were talking about how refreshing it was just to talk baseball, and not numbers. Just talk real baseball, real hitting, and just feel like you're a baseball player again, and not you walk into a clubhouse and hear a bunch of numbers.
Right.
And no, that is confusing. We go out there, we hit the ball, we throw the ball, we make the outs, we make the plays, or we don't make the plays. Somebody wins or loses, and we do it again tomorrow, regardless of what the numbers say.
So, of course, last year and the year before, they made it to a certain spot in NLCS, Game 6 and 7 at home, the bats went cold.
Yep.
Last year against the Mets, bats went cold.
Yep.
Talking about more plate discipline, not chasing as much. Do you think there will be a different approach this year, especially in the biggest moments?
Right. We'll have to wait and see. Let's first of all, let's hope they get there, and they definitely have what it takes to get there. They've bolstered their starting rotation with Luzardo. I love that. Sanchez, Luzardo, Ranger, 3 lefties, and then you got Nola and Wheeler, who's always, in my opinion, a Cy Young candidate at the top. That's one heck of a pitching staff. They have the staff. They have the offense. It's hopefully it's not a Braves thing where they have the offense until it's time to get to the playoffs. But they've gotten to the top. They've gotten to the World Series. They've gotten to the LCS, and unfortunately got knocked out a little earlier. But it's just a matter of things happening. Look, you have to be good. They're that. But you also have to be lucky. People, of course, you can't calculate luck. Things have to go your way, whether it's getting a call, whether it's a guy missing the ball, whether, it's somebody off the bench getting a hit that wasn't expected to come up in that big situation, but they did. Those things have to happen in order for you to win it all.
And do you think Trey Turner, though, if he is leading off, do you think he will have a better approach this year? I mean, look, he hit 295 last year.
Right.
I think people think he hit 260.
Right. I know.
He got the hamstring injury.
Right. Because he's hit 330.
Yeah.
So when you hit 330, 295 seems like, oh, what are you doing?
Right.
And that's nothing to sneeze at. And I think it's a matter of him, it being healthy. When you're healthy and you have the time, it seems like you can slow down. When you're healthy and then you're injured, then you come back and you're kind of not sure, then you're injured again, it feels like you're always going uphill. So if he can have a healthy season, I think that relaxes his mind. And when you do that, you feel you have a full season of being healthy and at bats where you can make something special happen.
Now, of course, they're working with Trey. Trey's working every day on his defense as
Yep.
well. They were working on his first step. I saw Larry Boa, Bobby Dickerson.
Drilling it.
They get on him.
Drilling it,
And he
yes.
gives it back to him.
Of course.
Yeah.
Hey, look, Bo and Book, they should put me through the ringer.
Yeah.
But it worked. And what I found was that routine is what makes the outs. Keeping everything as simple as possible. Yes, you're talented with the speed he has, the ability he has. In your mind, you do start to get creative because I can do things, but it doesn't necessarily translate into outs. For me, it was keep it simple, and my athleticism was short when I needed it. When I had to go way to my left or way to my right, that's when my athletic ability would come through. But for the routine ball, when that ball comes off the bat, the pitcher wants to be able to walk into the dugout because that out's made. And that was something that I took a lot of pride in, that when it was hit my way, the pitcher could go ahead and start walking off the mound.
So you famously said we're the team to beat.
Yes.
You gave the team, the city, a vibe, some swag.
Yep.
Who is the team to beat in the division this year, honestly?
Oh, in a division?
Yeah. Well, forget about the Dodgers are spending all the money.
No, yeah, they're not in the division. They're in the league. I still like us. I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Mets getting Juan Soto and what he can do to change that lineup or to bolster that lineup. But, man, I still like what we have. Our staff, first of all, you have to score runs off of them, and we can score runs with anybody. The Braves are going to be the Braves. We've proven, in the last few years that, you're the Braves, but when you come against us, you're still taking second place. So with that being said, I don't really see there being anybody that we can't beat. It's just a matter of, one, as you said, being healthy. If we're healthy, I don't think there's anyone that can beat us. It's not going to be easy, and it never is, but I still think we have the best team in the East.
So do you think, and you from being down there, them taking a step backwards, losing to the Mets like they did, is there that extra chip?
Oh, that hurts. Oh, that hurts. Trust me. They remember that, and every time they step into that box, those Mets fans are going to make sure that the Phillies remember it, and the Phillies fans and the Phillies are going to make sure that they silence those Mets fans.
That was painful to see last year, right?
It was.
For you?
It was. But you know what? I was happy that it happened because it hadn't. That rivalry needs to be kicked back into gear, where both teams are good again, and now they have that playoff thing going, and the Mets are up 1-0 right now. No, we can't have that.
By the way, this is a special year. You're going to go into the Wall of Fame.
Yes.
What is that moment going to be like at Citizens Bank Park for you?
I don't know. I really don't know. I've thought about it a little bit. The other day I was like, man, I guess I should start trying to write my speech and, people are still texting me, congratulating me. Like, okay, well, do I invite people? They invite people. They always have some type of surprise. Yeah. So I won't be surprised about a surprise, but I don't know who it's going to be. But I don't. Is it going to be emotional? I really don't know. But I'm looking forward to it. David got to go in last year, so I had the chance to pull his plaque, or pull the cover off his plaque and reveal it. I'm like, that was pretty cool. A guy that I got to meet and know intimately, his family, my family. When I got traded to the Dodgers that Christmas, he came down and visited me at the house before he and Lynn went off to Clearwater, wherever they went. So you're talking about a family man, and not just his immediate family, but the family of baseball if you wore that uniform. So that was nice. So I don't know who's going to pull it down for me this year, but either way, to go up there, it's like, that's dope.
Yeah. What does it feel like when you come back here to Philly, knowing you were a big part of the rebirth of Phillies baseball, bringing that swagger and the belief to this city and your teammates that we could actually hang with the big boys and get it done? You're a catalyst for bringing it back.
I think more than anything, it was a championship, though. That yes, I started with a team to beat, and that took its own life and just ran from coast to coast, and it ended up working out for us. But that was part of it. But winning that championship is really what kind of solidified that. Hey, we were the next thing, and in this city, it hadn't been a championship for a long time, and in baseball since 1980. And, I remember when the Eagles got to the Super Bowl, I wanted them to win, but I was like, man, if they win, that means they're the first to do it. But we ended up being that. So the fans, every time I show up, they make sure they let me know, thank you for 2008. Now, we have championships since then. The Eagles just won. Shout out to the Eagles, Jalen Hurts, Saquon, the boys. Congratulations. So they've had some championships since then. But at that time, it was like, okay, yeah, we're a major city. We're no longer second fiddle to anybody.
And you guys had heard about it was since 1980 since the Phillies had won. This group is probably hearing it like it's been now a while. 2008.
Right.
It's a minute.
It's a long time. And I've told Bryce, I've told Trey, I may have even told Schwarber. I was like, you guys should be tired of hearing about it. I was tired of hearing about 1980. Yeah. So you guys should feel the same way. Be the next team. Be so tired of hearing about 08 that when you win your championship, it's like you guys can no longer talk about them. That's old news. We're the new guys in town. So that's the only way to get it done. So I look, them winning does nothing to tarnish what we did. But us winning, them having to hear about it, should inspire them to win their own even more so, just so they could stop having to hear about the 08 championship.
Yeah. Team. And it hasn't been as long as 1980, but it's still a minute. By the way, Dick Allen, to go into the Hall of Fame posthumously, 50 years after his last game, what does that mean to you and to the entire Phillies community?
Well, it's great. It's long overdue. And you hear writers say, they don't not vote for a guy because the way he treated us or didn't do interviews. I just don't believe it, because if you look at his numbers, there was no question that he should have been in there a long time ago, especially while he was on this earth to give his own speech. But he made it eventually. And that means a lot. I got to know him. I think that was something that kind of dug at him for sure. But he's in there. Unfortunately, he doesn't get to see it. But baseball got that one right.
Yeah, finally. And by the way, we're here. Surfside, surf and turf.
Yes.
Philadelphia cheesesteak and a Surfside at a Phillies game?
Exactly. Well, not at a game yet. Not at the game. You can't get the combo at a game, but you can go to drinksurfside.com to figure out where they'll be celebrating surf and turf all the month of April. You can find it at bars across America. They're expanded. A Philly legend and a cheesesteak. Although man, what's out the way? You got the cheesesteak, and then you got the new kids on the block, the Surfside ready-to-made drink. So that's why we're here. It's, happening lines up with opening day. I wish it was warmer because everything tastes better when it's warmer. Yeah. But, man, it's never a bad time for a cheesesteak in the Surfside.
Yeah, and it's a Philadelphia company, which is great.
Philly company. Yeah. Homeboys.
I love it. By the way, before I let you go, I think there were only 7 players last year that hit 300.
Wow.
Like, what is, if you're commissioner, what does baseball need to get the kids excited and everybody, action
You know
with
what?
baseball.
I don't think it's the commissioner's done a great job. They've sped up the game and they've shortened the game. I think it's going back to swinging down on the ball, hitting the ball in the gap, taking your doubles, taking your singles, and not trying to go home run and strike out.
Yeah, see some speed on the bases.
Yep.
Appreciate your
Thank you,
time.
Jesse.
Surf and turf.
Yes, sir.
All summer long, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks. Jimmy
All right.
Rollins, all-time hits leader in Phillies history, going into the Wall of Fame.
Yes.
And maybe someday
The Hall. Hopefully.
Someday. Thanks.
Oh, mom, so flagrant.